actually showed up in this episode? Was it God or was it karma or a combination? And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag in all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is season 2, episode 4 of Greenleaf. I got a lot to talk about. Like I said, who showed up? They were having a revival. This whole episode was about this revival that they were having. They're having a revival, and you know, generally during the revival, some blessings generally take place. Somebody gets saved, somebody gets clean, somebody gets right. So who showed up? Was it the Spirit of the Lord? Or was it just karma? Or was it a combination of the two? I'm going to go with a combination. Let's talk about it. Let's start off. First, we got Pastor Rebecca and Gigi. Pastor Rebecca is a good friend of Gigi's from back in the day who has come to town for the revival. The first night of the revival was held. It was like a meet and greet kind of thing at the Greenleaf Mansion. So there was a whole lot of champagne drinking going on, honey. To me, it looked more like a party of sorts. I'm just saying. I ain't see any grape juice. I didn't see any Sprite. A lot of champagne, though. If you drink a lot of champagne, you'll become what? Drunk. I'm just saying. Anyway, moving on. A lot of champagne before the revival. Anyhow. Then we got Charity and Kevin. Charity and Kevin sang a duet during the revival, and it was a bit much. It was a bit much. I don't think it's getting to a point now where the connection between Jabari and Charity is getting so evident. Like, you can see it. And it's getting to be a bit too much. Kevin says something to Charity basically about, you know, having sex. And she questioned him, oh, you want to have sex with me? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, we'll do it tonight. So they did all that. They went on through all of that. And when they went to go to have sex, it was kind of weird. Kevin was coming through the room and he took his little shirt off and he had his little blue boxer briefs on. And I'm like, well, all right, Kevin. And he was ready, baby. He was ready to put it up in her, honey. And Charity was giving him, it just doesn't feel right. You know, she had her dress on. She's like, it just doesn't feel right. And I just want it to happen just naturally. It don't feel right to plan it. So he's standing there behind her looking at her. And I'm like, child, listen, honey. All right, girl, whatever. So he was like, okay. And he walked away. She waiting on him to help her unzip her dress. He was like, child, unzip your own fucking dress. Bitch, you ain't giving me no coochie. You just unzip your own dress. I was like, she better than me, honey. But anyway, so he goes on off about his business. Next thing that was actually going on is the bishop had actually gone and, you know, during the meet and greet part to pick up Pastor Lionel Jeffrey, which is a friend of theirs from back in the day. Well, immediately we saw some strange looks that actually went on between Lady Mae and Pastor Jeffrey. That happened right after he noticed Jacob's picture on the billboard for Triumph. And he's like, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on to Jacobs over next door? And people were buzzing about it during that little meet and greet session. So that was like kind of interesting. So then we ended up, there was a little exchange between Pastor Jeffrey and Lady Mae. She said, he said, you didn't want me here. And she's like, I know, I didn't want you here. And he's like, James called me. I had no other choice. So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? There's some past between them. And I'm just looking at how he was looking at her, honey. He was looking at her the way Kevin was looking at Charity, honey. And she was giving that look away, like trying to look away, like Charity was looking away from Kevin. I said, okay. So again, I said, all right, no problem. Then later on that night, we also seen the bishop and Lady Mae had a little situation about his medication. She said, did you take your medication? And he told her, no, not today. I didn't take it because it makes me sick and I needed to be at my best today for this function. And she said, well, you weren't at your best shaking the way you were shaking. He told her, well, I'm sorry to embarrass you. She said, you didn't embarrass me. You embarrassed yourself. Acting the way you act and take your damn medicine. I said, okay. He's, the bishop got a lot of different little issues. He got a lot of vanity going on. He got a lot of little issues going on. He's a little treacherous as well, as we're seeing, as we're going forward here. Let's see. Next thing was the bishop and Pastor Jeffrey the next day got to talking about what was going on with Triumph and Calvary battling, and how the growth of Triumph was just ridiculous. Like it was growing so fast, and they're losing money and they're picking up money and all of this stuff. And they know about the little zoning situation. Well, he says, hey, my son is a zoning officer and a lawyer, and he does all this kind of thing, and he can call in some favors. And what we can do is we can slow down. We can slow Triumph down, is the least we can do. We can slow them down, as to how they're prospering. And he's like, okay. I said, well, what kind of church fucking treachery is this? But I'm like, okay. So they call for the son. The son flies in from California too, and comes in. He gets there the next day. Anyway, then they end up having a whole conversation with Pastor Jeffrey and Lady Mae and the bishop and the son, and they're explaining what's going on and how they can kind of, they can file injunctions that will keep them tied up. You know what I mean? They may not be able to literally like just shut them down, but they can keep them tied up, and it'll keep hitting them in a place with money till it literally crumbles them at some point. So Lady Mae was like, there's nothing to think about. Let's do it. Treachery at its best. So just hold on to that right there. She went straight treacherous. She took straight treachery to get at them. Okay? So hold that right there. Let's go back and talk about Pastor Jeffrey and Lady Mae. I'm looking at them. I'm watching the two of them interact, honey. She's in love with that man. She's in love with him. There's something that went down that they didn't want to talk about, and it had already happened, and all of that. She in love with him, and he in love with her. There's some really pent-up feelings that ain't been, there's some more to that story. But you can see the lust and the love, he would reach and touch her, honey, and she's giving, I said, girl, did you just emote, honey? Did you just emote and then turn away, girl? Did your heart palpitate and your panties got wet real fast? First lady, is that what went on, girl? I said, girl, treachery. Sneakiness, honey, all up in her, all the time. She always got something going on. Child, a mess. Back to Charity and Jabari. They performed the second night, honey. This time they up there singing the song, Kevin ain't feeling the choreography, baby. He all up on her, rocking all up on her butt. So I said, honey, what is this? What is this? They supposed to be up there singing like BB and CeCe Winans. It look more like Ashford and Simpson. I said, child. Then when they were sitting in the, where the choir sits, they sit up there like they a couple. All they kiki and a cackling, and she leaning all over on them, and Kevin sitting out in the audience like an idiot. Kevin wasn't feeling it. Got home that night. He asked her, is something going on between you and Jabari? Do you want to talk to me about? She got all defensive, honey, and they got to arguing. He's like, okay. Next morning, he goes to her and he apologizes, tells her he was wrong. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You weren't. He says, that's okay. Later on that night, honey, he tries again, baby. He done jumped up with another pair. This time he got a gray pair of goddamn boxer briefs. He done jumped up in the bed with her, baby. This time he done made his move. She's talking. And he asked her something about the song, what she's listening to on her little iPad. She told him the song. He like, all right, took the earpieces out of her ears, baby, and was getting busy. Next thing I know, he was a fast mover. I said, ooh, Kevin, honey. Next thing we know, he was up on top of her, baby. He was kissing and going, ready to lay her out, honey. She's sitting there, and she tells him, I can't do this. I can't do this. I want to, and I don't. I don't feel it. I don't want to. So they sit up. And then she tells him, this is over. This is done. It's over. And I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, so I get you. I kind of understand. But keep in mind, he never actually cheated on her. He never slept with a man. All he did look at the pictures. He did everything she asked. He was honest. He went and tried to repent for it. He took himself and put himself into those classes to try to get rid of it. Because, they swore that they could pray his gay away. He's done everything that you asked. And what he got in return is you telling him basically you don't want him. You're over the complete thing because you opened up. You did what I asked originally. And now I don't want you no more. So I know at some point he's feeling like all I fucking did was be honest like you asked me to, and it just flipped around and turned on me. I should have never even said anything. I shouldn't have said a word. I said, oh my. So it was what it was. It's going to be very interesting to see how that will actually play out when they try to get the marriage done, like get rid of the marriage. How would that actually play out? It's going to be interesting to see because there was not any real infidelity. I can see it being irreconcilable differences, but it really is just on one side. So he'll probably be able to sue her because she's the one with she's the one with the money for the most part. He works for them. So he's definitely going to take a hit because he's not going to have his job. He's not going to be able to live the lifestyle that he's used to. He can really much fuck her up real good if he wants to be a nasty bitch. She could be jammed up because this was all her doing. He didn't do anything. In law's eyes, he hasn't done anything. But be honest. And you didn't want to try to work it out. So, yeah, he could really hang her up money-wise. But, even with her having a baby and stuff. But he could definitely get alimony from her, I believe. Depending on what type of prenup or whatever they had. But anyway, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, it's definitely over. He asked her later on, well, what are you going to tell people? And she's like, nothing right now. We'll figure it out. Right, whatever. Anyhow, so I just was kind of looking. I don't really know how to feel about that. Well, I do know how to feel. I mean, it's the whole thing of like, I've said it before. You say the Lord could take it away, but you really, as a Christian, don't even believe that. So that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. So anyway, let's talk about Gigi and Mac. Gigi and Mac still going at it. Gigi was out there scoping and seeing Mac on a date and ran up on the woman and asked her, "Did you know that he was a pedophile?" This, that thing, and the other thing. And he was telling her, "Stop it, stop it, get away from her," this, that thing, and the other. And then he told her, "And you call yourself a Christian." Next thing you know, we seen the police come down to talk to Gigi, and they told her basically, "Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. You know, we understand what you're saying and all that, but just leave him alone." Then you go over to Jacob and Calissa. Jacob's actually watching the revival on his computer, and Mary actually was a guest, and they were performing. He said, "I don't even know why I'm watching this." Calissa said, "I don't either." And shut the damn laptop. I said, "Oh, y'all hating? Damn." But you can see in Jacob's face, he really wanted to be over there with him. You know what I mean? But Calissa just mean and hateful and hates where she's at, period. So I was like, girl, she hating that ain't big time. So, okay. Next thing, the very last day of the revival, Sophia, and I called her Olivia the whole last recap. Honey, her name is Sophia. Sophia, Gigi's daughter, ends up getting baptized. I've been seeing this in Sophia from the beginning. I believe that with this whole Greenleaf situation, Sophia is the one that is the true anointed person that is in that crowd. And she made the decision to be baptized. And her grandfather baptized her. Now, even through the midst of all of his tomfoolery and his treachery and all of that, everybody knows that God can use anybody that he wants. And I believe, now this is me talking. What I got out of it is that God basically used that revival, as much commotion, because there's tons of commotion going on in the revival. Tons of it. Every day there was something going on all around these people that wasn't right. He swooped right down in there, right in the midst of the mess, grabbed one out, and has chosen her for greatness to carry on his mission. And I believe that person is Sophia. She got baptized. She came up when her mother told her, asked her, you could see she's so excited. Even afterwards, mother asked her, "How do you feel?" She said, "Benefiting." Like she feels as though she's benefiting from the whole experience, which is completely selfless, which is completely everything that the God that I know of looks for. So a selfless person is who ends up being anointed. Whatever talents they actually have, they're not all hung up on their talents that they have. They understand what the use and the purpose of the talents are. This is all, everything that we know about Sophia. This is all Sophia. So I believe that Sophia is the clean soul that is going to be used to turn the whole situation on its ear. I think everybody's going to get right. So like I said, I believe a lot of this is the Lord's work in play, as well as karma. Because the very last thing we saw, Lady May had done all this treachery. Okay? And she's like, yeah, so, she got her plan in place. Her and Pastor, they just as happy as a lark. They got their plan in place to take Triumph down. Her whole, whatever that little marked up dirty past that she don't want the bishop or nobody else to know about, it's getting ready to be shipped on back to California. They're standing outside and they're saying goodbye, saying their goodbyes. The other pastor, his son, is getting ready to leave. And then a bomb dropped. Oh, I had a great idea. I don't have to work remotely on this. I could actually work right here from the Greenleaf mansion. And the pastor, "Oh yeah, Jacob's room is empty." You just got stuck with the other pastor's child. So no, he not done with you yet. No, you're not getting ready to tuck your little nasty past back away because it's stuffed up in your home at this point. There's more to come to this part of the story. And I promise you, it's a little of both. It's a little of the Lord's work and play, and it's a little bit of karma as well. Or are they the same thing? Listen. I sat over here and screamed. I screamed. I said, that's what you get. You're always in something. You're always in some mess. But the mess is not going to brush right up underneath the carpet, honey. The carpet is flipped. And it's going to be on you, honey. It's going to be on you, Lady May. Then we actually seen Gigi, because the police that came, remember they came to see her and told her to leave Mac alone. We seen her call the one woman lieutenant back, and she was saying, well, what's going on, this, that, and the other, and she said, I think I found a solution. There's no problem. I think I found a solution. And so we got to see where that's actually going to go, because something happened with Gigi as well. When Sophia decided to be baptized, something was happening with Gigi. And I can't explain that, but something was happening with Gigi as well. So I can't wait till next week to see where we're going. All right, I've talked long enough, 21 minutes. That's it. I'm going to talk to you guys next week. There was a lot going on in this episode. I'll talk to you guys next week. Later.